Yep, we're excited to be headed over to Auburn and play what we think is a really good football team. Just won a big game on the road. I've known Coach Harsin for a long time. He does a tremendous job, and I think they're a really tough place to play. I've always thought that their stadium and the experiences I've had there has been one of the toughest places to play in the conference, and they get tremendous support and fans. And our guys got to be mentally prepared to go on the road in the SEC, and that's been a lot of what we've talked about this week with our guys. I know we're excited for the opportunity.
Coach, we'll begin with Jordan Hill of Opelika Auburn News.
Hey, Kirby, I wanted to ask about Jackson Meeks. Just what stood out to you guys about him when you were recruiting him, and what have you seen from him as a true freshman?
Well, he's a really good athlete. He has balance and body control. He's got great size. He's a physical kid, and since being here, his pride in special teams and his pride in fighting to get on the field in the receiver room has been tremendous. And he's got a really good attitude. And since he's been over here mid-year, he's been a really hard worker. So we've enjoyed having him.
Yeah, Coach, I want to ask you about the return game. We saw a little bit of Ladd McConkey earlier in the year. Will we see more of Ladd, and what are your thoughts on the kick and punt return right now?
We've got a good unit there at kickoff return. Haven't had many opportunities at kickoff return. A lot of people are hitting touchbacks and things like that, so we're not getting a lot of opportunities there. Punt return, we've had some opportunities. We've been aggressive. We've come after some in terms of trying to block and hold guys up, and we've had some very different looks by teams, rugbying and kicking away from us. But Kieris is our punt returner still right now, and it's not something that we're looking to change unless we have to. If he's down or injured, then Ladd's the backup.
Hey, Kirby. Good morning. In your experience as a coordinator and now as a head coach, hiring coordinators, have you found that it can be something where it takes time for a new coordinator in their first year to mesh with the players and for that to click? Is there maybe sometimes a jump in year two, or is that not really ever quite a factor? Just time.
It has a lot to do with the players you have in place and returning players. Sure, second year in the system can certainly help some things, but it's got a lot more to do with the players that are on the team and the buy-in from those guys, more so than anything else.
Kirby, knowing Sam Pittman like you do, how do you think he'll rally Arkansas after you guys obviously beat him pretty decisively last week?
I think Sam's extremely resilient. He's got a good football team. He's got a great staff and support staff around him, and he understands this league. He's been in this league for a long time, so he knows there's not time to think about things in the past. You worry about who you got next, and that's what we all have to do in this league.
Appreciate the time here this morning, Coach. I've heard you talk about the defense needing to improve over the past couple of weeks in some press conferences, Coach. What areas do you think your defense needs to improve in, Coach?
We got to force more turnovers. We've got to tackle better, especially on the perimeter and the secondary, and we got to do a much better job of gap control up front. Is the biggest things we can improve on, and those come with opportunities. And we got an opportunity this Saturday, and we got to stay away from explosives in terms of the ball down the field.
And you mentioned it in your opening statement there, Coach, about what kind of factor Jordan-Hare Stadium is. I've been living in this state for over 2 decades, and I can't even describe what factor brings that in. Is there any kind of words that you can use on how effective that building is? It just feels like there's a different mojo down there.
Yeah, it's extremely loud, and most SEC places are, but they have incredible ability to affect the game in terms of noise and the energy they bring to it. But we're going to play the 11 guys on the field with our 11 guys and try to focus on that and prepare best we can for that environment.
Hey, good morning, Coach. Last week you guys ran really well against Arkansas. Was that always something built in the offense, or was there more of a breakout week for the offensive line and running backs?
No, it's you always try to take what the defense gives you, and that was part of our game plan. So that's why we have meetings all week to prepare, and you put ideas together, and sometimes your ideas work, sometimes they don't. You got to have another plan if things aren't going, and that's what you spend all off season doing to put. We didn't do anything different than we normally do in terms of our base run game. It was just doing it more often and trying to have success doing it. So.
Known Harsin for a long time. Have you seen enough of this Auburn team to have a feel for some of the just characteristics, how they might be different from the Gus Malzahn teams?
I think the offense and defense are different, right? They both have different coordinators and different head coach. So in terms of special teams, offense, defense, they're different in regards to that. We look back and watch history of those guys that make the decisions. So we have lots of history, whether it's on Bobo, lots of history on Harsin, lots of history on Derek Mason, and players take on the personality of their leaders, and that's what you're starting to see with these guys. Really tough, competitive, physical. They can run the ball on offense, and they can stop the run on defense. Those are two qualities of championship football.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about Bo Nix, and what have you seen from him this year that maybe some improvements from the past few years?
Yeah, I think it's different. He's using different protections this year. He's done a good job of doing some reads and things across the field, and he keeps his eyes down the field much better. So he's obviously a great athlete. I think he's brought playing more pro-style quarterback to the game, and then if things break down or if things aren't the way he seems in front of him, he can take off and scramble and make plays with his legs or his eyes downfield. And the guys with him, his teammates, his receivers and tight ends and backs, do a tremendous job on the scramble plays of being on the same page with him. But, again, you get better by playing, and he's played a lot of football in our conference, and to me he's playing his best he ever has right now.